The lights burned hot. The cameras rolled. Meghan Markle walked onto the stage with the kind of smile that looked rehearsed. She thought this was her arena. She thought she would win. But across from her sat Tamron Hall, still, calm, eyes sharp. She didn't need theatrics. She didn't need to raise her voice. She was waiting. And within minutes, the balance shifted. Meghan didn't realize it yet, but the takedown had already begun. Meghan Markle, actress turned duchess, duchess turned global celebrity. She's been called brave, bold, misunderstood. She's also been called manipulative, calculating, arrogant. She says she left the monarchy for privacy, yet every step since has dragged her deeper into the spotlight. And then there's Tamron Hall, veteran journalist, Emmy winner, the calm interrogator who makes politicians sweat and celebrities stumble. She has built her career by holding power to account, no matter how polished, no matter how famous. This wasn't just an interview. It was a duel, a stage set for truth versus spin, fame versus facts. One woman came armed with rehearsed answers. The other came armed with silence, receipts, and precision. The spark hit early. Tamron leaned forward, voice steady, asking what millions wanted to know. How does Meghan reconcile leaving the royal family for privacy while simultaneously signing multi-million-dollar media deals centered on her royal life? The audience froze. Meghan had been asked this before, but never like this. The phrasing cut deeper. It wasn't hostile. It wasn't cruel. It was calm. And that calmness made it impossible to dodge. Meghan smiled. Too quickly. A smile meant to buy time. She launched into her answer, that she had been hounded, that she was misunderstood, that the media never told her truth. She framed herself as the victim, as she always had. But Tamron didn't move. She let the words hang, her silence forcing the audience to hear every hollow note. The murmurs began. People leaned forward. Something felt different. Then Tamron struck again. She noted, almost clinically, that Meghan's fame exploded only after her royal title, that her business empire was built not on acting, not on activism, but on the very institution she claimed to despise. The words were measured, undeniable. The room gasped. Meghan's jaw tightened. She leaned in, insisting she had a career before Harry, that she didn't need the crown. But the more she insisted, the weaker it sounded. The audience saw it. They felt it. Tamron's composure never cracked. She acknowledged Meghan's struggles, but then sharpened the blade. If you reject the monarchy so strongly, why does every project you touch circle back to it? The silence after that question was heavy. Meghan shifted. Her eyes flashed. She raised her voice. She declared that people weren't smart enough to understand her reality. Gasps. Audible. Shocked faces in the crowd. That one sentence turned the room. The audience wasn't insulted by Tamron. They were insulted by Meghan. And Tamron moved in. "When you insult the audience's intelligence," she said softly, "you've already lost the argument." Applause erupted, loud, unstoppable. The balance of power had flipped completely. Then came the twist. Tamron reached beneath her papers and pulled out what Meghan hadn't expected, a timeline. Every public statement Meghan had made about privacy laid out against the dates of her Netflix deals, Spotify deals, and tell-all interviews. The contradictions were glaring. They weren't speculation, they were facts. And Tamron delivered them with surgical calm. Meghan froze. Her eyes darted. She tried to speak, but her words stumbled. Her voice cracked. The Duchess, so polished, so careful, was unraveling live on stage. The climax built like a wave. Tamron spoke not with anger, but with authority. She laid out the case piece by piece. that accountability matters, that credibility matters, that when words and actions don't align, trust collapses. Every line landed like a hammer. The audience clapped, gasped, even cheered. Meghan's defense fell apart, her confidence shattered. She looked cornered, overwhelmed, desperate. And then it happened. Meghan stood up, abruptly, muttered that she would not be disrespected, and stormed off the set. The crowd erupted, not in chaos, but in a standing ovation for Tamron. She sat still, composed, almost regal. She turned to the audience and, with a faint smile, thanked them. Her voice never wavered. "Truth," she said, "doesn't need volume. It needs consistency." Within hours, the clip went nuclear. Twitter lit up with hashtags. Instagram Reels replayed the moment Meghan snapped, the moment Tamron dismantled her. Memes flooded the internet. News anchors called it the showdown of the year. Critics who once defended Meghan fell silent. Supporters scrambled. But no spin could erase what millions had seen with their own eyes. Tamron Hall was praised as fearless. Journalists hailed it as a masterclass in accountability. Viewers called it the single greatest takedown ever seen on live TV. Meghan's brand? Fractured, damaged, humiliated. And Tamron's? Immortalized. A woman who didn't blink, didn't bow, didn't break. A woman who turned silence into a sword and shattered the illusion of untouchable fame. This moment wasn't just television, it was history. Proof that arrogance collapses when confronted with composure. Proof that silence can be louder than shouting. Meghan Markle walked in expecting control. She walked out destroyed. And Tamron Hall? She left as the woman who, with nothing but calm strength, dismantled an empire of illusion in front of the world.